There is a mistake in the root text, stanza 17, line 3. Should read without not. What's that? There's a root text in the translation.
17, line 3.
Line 3. There's a mistake in root text, stanza 7, line 3. Should read without.
A mind frees itself without a doubt.
Without a doubt, yeah.
It says with a doubt on it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Thank you for correction of this profound mistake. So, 하나 더 있어서.
디르데 차나도지 단단한 디르로 아도스레 산제지 다 뉴베 튜탐 제게 란수 하샤바들이 스타 지시에 들어와디
나래.
다야 디 장주심바 장주심 장신이 세제데 차나도지세 장주심베 수승된 유지 여러와
나래.
다디 단단한 점베 제레시 단디 차단 여래 좀 된데래야 차나도지 차나도지 제야디 또다 상회겠다고 응아기 땜바다고 자니 쪼드랬다 상회다고 봐 전당도 디즈나라 어랭아다고도 가르스는 다좀 된데래야 지워시오로 차나도지로 아니 가서 좀 된데다 상 가르스 계속해서 봐 송주주고만 가르스 뭔지 제스리 아니 다 제가도 나야 통 근데 싫은 모두는 이게 다게 퇴스기도 와. 함저를 퇴스. 나 싫은 모두니데 차나도지 인세야다. 중가고 인세야도 때제 되버 미디엄 담만데 요래도 차나도지 데 요세로. 근데 니게 디시고다 찬주스
차나도.
넘버 순디 조디.
나래.
어디데 요세로. 아니 디요세 단다 디 싫은 모게 난 디게 다게 퇴버디시나 신이디 차나도지리 신이 요래 군가우리 중가우리 신이 요래와 아주도 칼리니 당 jel라 퇴식도 디시고다 응아를 가래나 통스로 당에 통스로 와 암저 퇴어만다 미통 가서는 다좀 된대게 아니 당아산 예단디 람지림바 나게다 지림 도림 내가 그 아니 림바 남림바가 도단도 람 딘데 지면서 데모 픽 무비마 document 때문에 때문에다 봐. 이제 공방은 제인 시지마. 이제 아니 좀이 찬호도지 그 두니 아니 도다좀 된데 남된데 건 시셔된데 레샤 시제마. 다 나게 다고 쪼디 어디에서 가서 찬호도지에서 좀 힘들어서 왔다.
So who is Vajrapani? I'm going to give two explanations. General explanation is Vajrapani. Vajra means thunderbolt. Pani means holder of a thunderbolt, and that is physical representation of the dynamic power of the Buddhas. So that, and when the dynamic power of the Buddhas presents physical identity, it appears in the form of this blue deity Vajrapani. The second explanation is who is a Vajrapani? Vajrapani is one of the 8 inner Bodhisattva disciples of the Buddha. Like Buddha has, of all disciples, there were 8 Bodhisattva disciples, prominently Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Vajrapani, Akashikarpa, and so on. So, so he was present when Buddha gave different teachings, and Buddha. So these disciples, 8 inner circle Bodhisattva disciples asked Buddha many questions. The question that Vajrapani asked was, "Oh Bhagavan, Buddha, could you tell me, could you show me, could you tell me how you achieved Buddhahood?" And here, if you recite Heart Sutra, the Heart Sutra begins in the preamble context. Thus did I hear. So this word "I hear" is used in the sutra context. Some say it was Vajrapani who put together Heart Sutra. Others say it's Ananda, Buddha's attendant and disciple. Anyway, in our context here, Vajrapani asked Buddha, "How did you achieve enlightenment?" Then Buddha demonstrated visually, and therefore in the Tantra compiled by Vajrapani, then the preamble says, and thus did I see. And therefore Buddha visually demonstrated the entire process of entire tantric process, especially of highest yoga tantra, the generation stage, where you generate yourself into deity after being empowered, and then the completion stage, and then Buddha visually demonstrated this is the first stage of completion stage, second, third, fourth, and what happens in these different stages. And the Vajrapani being, that level of Bodhisattva compiled what was visually presented by the Buddha and seen by him. So that's Vajrapani.
Chana chala doji namdi was chana doji siwa mingi. Ndi doji di das di dingora mishibe ten dingora mishiba di tangage tanzo talam tama tadu sunjun yi gombandi mishibarwa. Chida samye dago reso ta samye dago ngage temba dago chida sansana ji di chana doji senla sangda sebe samye dago. Chida samye dago slamna
Thank you. No. So, Chana Doji in the hand, thunderbolt in the hand is an epithet of Vajrapani, and Dorji Vajra thunderbolt here represents indestructible state of enlightenment achieved through tapping into and using the energy of indestructible drop that we all have. And so because he represents the indestructible state of enlightenment achieved through the power of a dynamism of Tantra, so that's why he's called Vajrapani. Also, he is called Sangwe Tapo, the Lord of the Secrets, because Tantra has many layers of meaning, and therefore not everything is not easily apparent, and he holds all the secrets. Lost. I meditated and looked for the eye. Is this the eye? I looked at myself I looked at myself meditating and saw another myself looking at myself. As I saw What is and come get the national tongues, dig all that shows. That I looked at myself meditating and saw another myself looking at myself. Like nghe come get and national tongues, national, until there was many of me in a big circle. A big circle that it was hard to see the origin eye. And and it was hard to see the original eye. Each eye was the cause. Just eye 당부디 eye 니베교. eye 니버도 선배 교전 찌기찌기 침 응아망아마 치매 교전에 nga shabistu sungdurwa. Then I looked at then I looked back at the eye that looked at me. Then ngala 당불 따게 nga 줘라. nga 니버더라. 당불 따게 nga 파 따요 송도. Then all the eyes collapsed. 아니 지 eyes 정말 식송사. 지금 어제 도문에서 도와라. And nothing was left except a seed floating in the air and in the air. 가영하면서 두지 안 롱을 때 코르테샤 송도. The druid. I looking at eye, then look back. Just 두문들 하면도 송도. 내 아이를 송도다. 땅아 뒤를 송도다.
대다 냠뇨배요. 야구래다 다나래 그래서 야구 따는 거 먹고 쉬어 요래다. 로와 아니 나다 계징아지 가요. 미다베 저가요. 집에 저 미다베 저와지 집에 쳐봐로. nga yabu yinsin nga duja yinsin nga jiwu yinsin nga dubu yinsin nga mabu shivji yoresro 아니 디제디 단도 셈나 찬다는데 그 나그라 메시 풍불라 데메덴신지 나스타 되거로 풍불라 데와메덴 조시 나와샤 되거라 다와다 까마나시 다와다 까마 데와요 말봐 풍부디 까마나시 제 나와디 나나시 제 단데다 나 가지 시작이 연하면은 시작다 나 망고식 용구요레스 이게 상황로 아니 두그 소리 때 나를 삼삼데 가는 되명에 소리도 당연히 신나 대요 말와 대요 말와 저도 되면은 그 유명한서 된대지 요월에 이제 지고에서 아니 신나다 다제 도고스네 다 신나게 제시그레스 동부도 알아 또 되면은 또 배사다 되면은 어디 돈다 깔래 잡대다 깔래 잡서 걸어 믿고 가세요 신나게 동부 다제기지 이거지 않잖아 그런데 동문이다 다음에 거기서 대스 동부 칼레신 시고서 준대지 뭐만 지난다 상에 공부대스 로노걸 시고라
맞아.
근데 냠뇨 무투지 kom 다가라 무투지 잡는 디고를 될 배야고래 잡지는 제일 어디 다음에라고 해가나 윤시야 미다고 해가나 삼로도 삼아 아니 가나 되면 따고지 요마를라디 아니 단지 킥도야 나 따고지 단지 킥도야다 근데 삼로 단지 오라 제일 칼레 단지 오라 하더서 다디 무투지 kom 잡스탄다 무투지로 아니 루데 님지 라도 그러세 아니 진짜 신다스 되면 그러세요
둘라네 magics로
두슬라스는 신나지고 말해 이번에 전에 요 말했지 뭐지 그랬지
So thank you for the beautiful description of many eyes, and that's a nyamnyong. Again, it's excellent description of what's happening in the mind when meditating on the eye. And indeed, as you have said, you have so many eyes. Indeed, each and every one of us has a lot of eyes, happy I, sad I, impermanent I, and so many, almost every instant there's an I. And so what is important is all of these, all of these I's, if they are seen as existing in and of themselves as I, unrelated to the body and mind, and then it will lead to the conclusion of inherently existing I, and therefore that's what we are trying not to experience. And so the relationship between the I and aggregates, heaps of them, are similar to the moon and the star. The moon is the lord of a night sky, and the stars are twinkling. They are kind of that illumination, but the two are not the same. So what about the seed? When you the seed, if you the seed is not the seed is not the inherent I. The seed doesn't represent the inherent I. And now at that point, when every I has collapsed, and when it is said that even the seed is not that inherent I, there is a possibility, oh no, I don't exist. And because when we started a meditation with the proviso that I exist, kind of unwittingly, inherent existingly. But when that is ruled out, and then daijik jikpa means there is a fear of loss of I. And at that time, when there is a loss of I, please don't be so afraid of it. Just say to yourself, that is the negation of the negation of inherently existing I that is believed to exist by one's ignorance. That has disappeared. I, the meditator, looking for that inherent I, please believe, has not disappeared, and then continue doing meditation. Rosary, rosary made up of many beads on a string could be labeled many things. Necklace, a belt. The beads and string are the basis. 청을 청한테 청도도 구버제 아니들라 청알랍세 그래 야만을 가서 되어 가서 그 그게로 야만이 belt energy get chance is the beads and the string are only basis. there's a 청도 구버 아니 닥치르서 does the actual rosary only come into existence when we label rosary with some conventional meaning agreed upon? 제가 청도의 구번의 닥실이 제가 청와 세gen디 any 르 딱백감의 신의 청와 차고를 송도.
네. 대단히 다시려다 청어 디게 되다 구바 디게 되고 때네 때문에 다시 있어야 돼. 다시라 때 연세 다시 Tene de ta shi shi. Ta ko ming zam ji. Ti ta shi di ge chane ani ko le pa ta go re so ro. Ta le tak se de tak dan de la ani ta ko den jap dan tam men da yer ta ro.
So, indeed, the beat and the string are the basis, and rosary is labeled dependent on the basis, the beat, and the string, and and there are many ways of labeling phenomenon by the mind.
Kadu ta bre, su ta bre, to ni to ko su res la de je chona ani ko na ya res ro.
And when was it labeled? Who labeled first? Why was it labeled? And so on. If you go into such inquiry, mode of inquiry, it'll end up causing a big headache.
다 가르에서나 나 알아도 메제나 당보 저런서 당보 디 당보 통도 평화스 타고요 말에 직 견자시도 싱그르물 직직도 된 거래 다 치스니 에 미직 어디 평화래 나 타니 민디 지가면데 안데 민디 콜티네 아니 스 셈기 아 다디 평화래 디디 저랑게 뭐기 평화데 디디 도래다 딜 삼다나 야 고요래로
So imagine, okay, when you first saw what I had in my hand, you thought there was something in the hand, but you didn't know it is it is a rosary. And then later on, when another person tells you, "Oh, that's rosary," then you follow the term used by the speaker, and at that point, rosary was established for one.
그래서 당보
That
민디 코로
Mingji.
민디 코에지스 인스스 똑바지 용거로
No.
똑바디 따디 튀어리 슬레송아 데스스 뭐그 튀어샤니 가나도 똑바다 가나래 다가나 하고는 디디다
So when you heard the term the rosary, when somebody said this is rosary, then immediately you develop a concept, and that concept then kind of labels the item rosary for the person, for oneself, and then your establishment of the item as a rosary, following the information received through concept, that is good enough.
단변은 먼저 탭들어 당게 인지 맞아고라 냐하고 어디로 다야 그외기 탭라고요 다 북라데야 북세야 민디야 아 지스 인지지 라오라 다 부다 아 부다 지금 뭐라요 다디 탭하고 어디래 북라디 야 인지지 다지코 이네 세나네 샤디 아니 야고 또바디 기단지 다지 저버디 또바지 게임다 초 탐제 민기 딱당래 또왜 딱당래서 될 상담배이나 아니 딱 정화세야를 텔세하거나 민담 좀 메시지 요마라 민기 제스로 되게요 또왜 제스다 되게요 제가데 만나서 뒤에 처음에 간에 민다단들 안 되지 약보르데 두자리 세야도 다나래 베나다 데데 신지들 가서 그 잠나야고 신지 유시 창제 왜 로인데 근데 왜 토베니까 돼 디신지 레스도 네 캡라지에 민디 암조로 고고다 당으로 와 아니 거네 아니 나 신지 차레스 남산 이지 지금도 아니 똑바디 직서도 나 신지 아니 제일 로라샤 민디 통한테는 로라샤 당한테는다 자신다 된다 신지 많이 별로 샤도 치거든 내가 신지 뉴질랜드 신지 야고 시지 유스라 다 버르질레 독자 시지 유라로 야고데 독자 직차도 다 근데 공부 시지 다 니마 가셔 다 가셔질라 뭐 신문 통인데 신지 길로 민들라 잘다 요만다 지 어디를 상담나 그 민감지 민지랑 이거데 세우 시비지래도
So what I'm holding or what I was holding in my book, I know what it is called in my language. And then when I started learning, I didn't know what in my language was called deb, and it's called book. And when I'm told it is called book, of course, there's a lot of complication, up book or that book, or, it's definite article, indefinite article, so up book, that book. So anyway, sorry. As soon as I hear the word book, book is a term, sound, think, okay, then that is, the book is a name. Following name, I develop a concept, an idea that the item is called book. And so it can be used in a daily life, because in a daily life we make so many judgments. Things are there. They are not called anything, but things. Imagine things are there. Then somebody says, it's good, this is good, this is bad, this is useful, okay, useless. And people, the speaker, uses language and labels good, bad, useful, useless, and so on. And what is useful, what is useless, there's nothing inherently useful or useless about it. Yet people calling it useless may not find it useful. So it creates a purpose, creates an impact. But when you look for that which has impact, you can't find it. So that shows it's in absence of inherent existence. A selection of a national leader like prime minister is a good one, really. And somebody on winning votes, popular vote, for example. The popular vote is a naming factor, and when the candidate receives the majority of naming, consenting public information, public choice, then they are declared prime minister. And prime minister, the term is heard, and then mind follows that term and develops a dogma means idea or concept. And then the prime minister changes. For example, our prime minister was really hailed as being a great leader, and over that time she her popularity changed, and she bordered on being bad prime minister, and now she has stepped down from leadership, and so her entity as prime minister is now gradually fading away, and one day she will not be prime minister. Why? Because that term prime minister is not attached, and the term doesn't construct her to be the prime minister. What does it show? It is all name. Lars.
뭐에 당도 차진 다 도기 차진디다 차단 쉬지 마시 당하게 이슈발라 다 당보도스 유파르침에 대과 도도지 대과 다 당기 nga 중단디 찬호도지 로균의 충성하디 슈무고제로 nga tem바디 중단디 nga di 송두 뒤절레다 야지 배데 똑바야 토고 장죽샘 돈이도 배다와 아니 니중 아니 티 여바자 마세 아니 nga 메바여니 어딘데라 아니 ngo마이나 tom바셰지베고라 두줄라 송구여라 돈이 또 잘. nga 공원나서 돈이 또 잘. 장주심 줄을 깨사래. 니중 줄을 깨사래. 제자마세 아니 nga 메바여 봐. 송주 구사도 코바단이다. 대원도 최고도 세하게 메바여 되니. 어딘데 직는데 데직라. 투문남잔데 주 투문남잔데 그새 시행 봐. 딘데직라. 아니 왕구고 왔다. 왕 구르스도 되가라. 베징고 프라야 샹쟁도 데 만들라도 징고 디아 땡제베 뚝스 땡제 엔디나가 하왕 왕스 다 지나 디 람디냐메시네 딘데 치고레 딘데 치고세 마 뚝스다 징고리아 샹제 엔디 땡샤가 요르와 다디 땡베 네가딜라 아니 징고디게 제로지 가시 도가라 데니 엔딩산다 가시 도가라 딘데 요르사도 지체는 딘데 인시브로와 배나 먼저 nga temba데 용달 승요 말 시르 자고 공부를라 시르님 무슨 거로 와준데
Laura.
걸로 봐와 아니 걸로 당보디 좀인데 최 당보디 와라나실라 디시 중고송 다디 지당기 tem바시 닉스 시험나 시르 먼저 빨리나 또 남바 탐제 냠내시야 시 베이직 지르 다디네 대과 준비다 걸로디야 뭐바 친구지 로드 또 야지 전부 차는데 한 동반이 되네 진짜는 시르님 뭐 자고 공부를 다 시르님고디 숭배 두두 지구지 ඥාන를 다뤄 좀 된데 경험 남바디 자고 공부를라 도송제 주고를 봐 시르님 무슨제 주고를 두두 지구지 ඥා나 허저 반대 대봉라 아니 두고 숭게다 두고 왕숭게 다음에 두고 자주세 두고 자주선은 두고 꿀려야 신 아니 두자에다 내dengi 강산도저 나다 그거 제거라잖아. 두수 지구 지ኛ는 송다. 제가 두수 배 상어를 역수하거든. 근데 두수다 이체하면 더다. 그거. 제가 상어 마셔는 가셔게. 록베기에다 칼때 카단해야 되는 거 같은데. 나 영식 말에 다 처음에 이제 시작도 카단은 그거는 배 나게 템발을 주는 마테야다. 이제 랭이 마사게 요인자. 근데 상어 쪽으로 해야 돼. 나그 중림이 두수 중림자 송당도 좋다. 상 삼님이 저래다. 그거죠. 지금 시험되네. 시나르시도 왔다. 근데 시나 미시리 지치기는 삼제 그러야 시험 중에 시대 시나요다 가지나 팅자 미드서 카단 주저이도 카단은 디고사그라. 대단한데 아게 쳐져서 그냥 장주샘다. 닝제다. 동이 대시야라 때데 신이를 지기도 nga ko shen de su sem na ji le do da de mi de shen pen to gu na ne je gu na sam je ne ma shi gi le ya gung gu de cha do nga ge je do ma de de ya gung do de cha gu da che da sa re se de ne ga de nga ge ju ring da cha dan de zo o de re se ba
So now Tantric Mahamudra, and this morning and also previously we covered Sutra Mahayana, Tantric Mahayana, Tantric Mahamudra. The question about Vajrapani was a really nice link, connection, a signpost to leading us to this, to present Tantric Mahamudra. As for how Tantric came to be, Vajrapani's story kind of gave us a brief background. And then Sungtang, how did Buddha teach the Tantra? So Tantra was taught by Buddha as not as an ordained monk, but assuming celestial deity form, and taught Tantra to people with the three principles of path under their belt. perfect bodhicitta, perfect understanding of emptiness, perfect renunciation or definite emergence. And not only that, on top of these critical requirements needed, they also have strong drive for Tantra. Nöpa means a strong desire for Tantra. In the course of teaching, as soon as they hear the word Zungjuk, it's the state of Yugonada, something happens in the body that they can't help thinking that I must have it. And having had the three principles of the path and hearing this something called Zungju, they can sense the dynamism present in this special technique. So as soon as they are to such disciples, then Buddha initially gives empowerment or initiation. When giving empowerment, Buddha actually constructs 3D mandala whereby the bhikshu form Buddha transformed into the actual deity, and then went through the process and showed all the mandala in its entirety, details, what they signified, and telling the initiate what they need to do, what they need to avoid, and so on. So much so that these actually constructed 3D mandala, some of them have left their imprint at some sites. Apparently, there is an imprint of mandala on stones maybe in India. So anyway, Buddha, in helping beings on the path to liberation, to answer their quest for overcoming suffering and seeking happiness, Buddha taught Four Noble Truths, a basic framework of Buddhism. And then when people's understanding developed, then Buddha taught emptiness, the cutting edge tool to sever grasping at a reality, a seeming reality that didn't exist. So Buddha taught Prajnaparamita Sutra in the second wheel of Dharma at a place in India called Vulture Peak in a city called Rajgir. So there, Buddha was in human form teaching Prajnaparamita. Simultaneously, in southern India, at a place called Amravati, the same Buddha, now changed to deity form and had constructed Kala Chakra, the wheel of time mandala, and there he was teaching Kala Chakra. Anyway, the thing about Tantra is it was taught only to the select few who were fully ready and not publicly taught because Tantra, some of the things in Tantra are beyond human conception and iconoclastic. And you think, oh, how is that possible? That's quite bizarre. These things are used as a tool for enlightenment and so on. So people who are stuck in social norms, they would criticize, and criticizing something that may look untoward but had a profound message would lead them to committing abandoning Dharma by way of cynically criticizing and so on. So Buddha taught Tantra really, really secretly. And so it's it's relatively easy to talk about bodhicitta and renunciation, compassion, and even emptiness. Sometimes one develops some kind of a reservation whether one should delve into emptiness so much or not. So when it comes to talking about Tantra, you think, oh, it might be useful to share this information. While sharing, another thought says, wait, be careful, so much so that one has to retract, withdraw information, uh, so that the secrecy, the code of secrecy, is maintained.
어디래다 아 유퍼진 베테바지 되고도지 테바스는 원톱 아니 봉화 상황 신화 시를 상황 봉화 상황 신화 측원시 원시세 중고 원세 등의 기능시에 뭐 촉진되고 고미약 톱단되고 그랬어. 아니가 되라 유디 유시자와 윤신서 마 윤데 유유세야 돼. 마 윤용해야 돼. 최선다는 와 이게 마 지금 쇼드마서나 쇼기 띠드마 반지로야 들어. 윤 딜래야 유세 유시자와 윤신서 유시세 유유세야디 윤을 맞아고 그래. 윤 가래서는 사상제 뉴베기 담바디 미투제 도도 그래. 다 되길 안에 원도 단들라. 응? 유디라. 자 유디시스 자주 주주 내조 라미 주스로. 다 자주 주주도 또직네 원 단도 봉원 상원 니 시원 치원 지나네. 다 유도 뭐서는 먼저 봉원 메시지 원신다도 비즈비즈 요 말이야. 봉화미시 비즈 요 말이야. 봉환직미시 요 말이야. 다드네 데 봉화 상황시와 세원 디 시드 시와 가래서나 디 류지 되와 타지 마지 되와 타지 이지 되와 타지 누가 예숨 지자 되와 타지 어 디치디 시에서 디 딜라나 야그로 두 코샤나
아래
원신내야디 류지 되와 타지 마지 되와 타지 이지 되와 타지 누가 예숨 지자 되와 타지 원시딜레 아제가 자주 주주 내조 주디게 또다 치기 자와다 나게 내조니나네 치기 자와 조시야르세야로 찬념 치세야로 된데미시 심 참을 내고 구단도 주는 승고요 말봐 이 주도 오마 숨디들에 당알람이 주디 가시 어두스제지 주디 시 딱 반응라고디 왕가니야 식세우스는 야고요 두스로.
So now Tantra, as said before, when ready, when a person expresses strong desire, and the person meets the requirement, then the person is taught Tantra. And in Tantra, well, let's say Tantra, Tan body, Tra means save. Anyway, Gyushijawa, Gun. So what is called Tantra? Gyushijawa Gun. What is Tantra is continuum. Like when you want to make milk, turn milk into yogurt, you need culture, is it? You need the culture, and when the culture is added to the milk, then the continuum of the yogurt goes. And in Tantra is called continuum because the sublime dynamic know-how in instruction is continued from one to another. That's why it's called Tantra. Now, there are 4 classes of Tantra, 3 lower classes and one upper class. In the 3 lower classes, there are action Tantra, performance Tantra, yoga Tantra, and the highest Tantra is called highest yoga Tantra. So in highest yoga Tantra, in each deity, there are 4 initiations, 4 steps of empowerment, and the 4 empowerments are called Vase initiation, V-A-S-E, Vase initiation, secret initiation, wisdom initiation, and precious word initiation. In the lower tantras, they only, most of them only have vast initiation. They don't have the remaining three, because they deal with mainly with the physical activity. They use physical activities to move on the path of tantra. They don't tap into the subtle energy and mind. Last.
다 라미 셰요디 아니 일라 기름다 소름 남르 많이 셰와
Larry.
니 기름사데 또 메와친 로 따니 니또다 조림인지 샤고와 조림인지 탑람 로 따스데 베나 긴고다 하다 원슈니다 스스 원 하디 뭐 제야게 초진 라사로와 긴고 고미야게 초진 라사로와 아니 디 메와친 곰니와 곰곰곰곰 곰이 언제 상갈라 아니 텔라야지 당고에서 다 연구 말들래 텔라야 다지 기름 차라게 지 벤데게 다지 도버터버든데 용도 상갈라 아니 지 기름라고 아니 템버터버 기름라고 탈심바 기름 참물라 템버터버 기름 참물 탈심 기름라고라 템버터버사데 긴고 긴고다 하두즈베 셰자 용스서바니 가나 간전지 남바샤니 아니 주주시 듣든데 그와 주주시 듣는데 대도이나 아니
작발라 템포도.
아 이제 이래라고 타심 뭐 데려와 다데네 라고 탈심 바디 아니 주주시를 하고 니만든데 대도바디 라고 탈심 바디 기름 참으면서 윤거 춘주 지금 루다고 데도 간지기 간라야 아니 제 간다 하셔자 용서도 뭐 곰트 디간라 주주시 곰점 데토이나 아니 기름 참으면 땜부터 버셔 다드네 니만 다와든데 곰점 데도나 아니 기름 참으면 탈심 바스 기름 타라 탈심 바스 다디 기름 기랑게 건당 그림 바디 또 메워체니다 메워 이지체네 르르 원래 나마 샤제니 메워체네 곰야레 예스와
So with initiation, I forgot there are 4 initiations at the highest yoga tantra. The translator forgot to give this information, to pass on the information. There are 4 initiations. Why 4? There are 4 initiations. Each of the initiations, okay, and the first 3 vast initiation is given to purify the body of the recipient, secret initiation to prepare the speech of the recipient, wisdom initiation to purify the mind of the recipient, and the secret word initiation to collectively purify the body, spirit, and mind. And now, in highest yoga tantra, once you are empowered to undertake 2 levels of practice. The first level of practice is called self-generation. You are now empowered to see yourself as the deity in training, and all the visualizations are so all the practice of myopa means at the level of a belief, and make believe. Look, it's happening. It's a one with the suspension of disbelief is happening. And then with the generation, for generation there are 2 levels of generation: coarse generation, subtle generation, and and then you need okay when you for these two you you achieve stability and perfection of the stability in training and perfection or the mastery of mastery. So now uh, since generation stage has got a course, how do you know that you have achieved stability in your practice of course generation stage? There, if you can visualize the entire mandala with you as the deity and so on, and you can see in your mind's eye, you can see the mandala, and you can concentrate on the mandala. And if you can remain in concentration for 4 hours, you have achieved stability in course generation stage, and you will have achieved mastery in the stability when visualizing and concentrating on all the entirety of mandala and remain in that concentration for days on end or even weeks. Then you have achieved mastery in the course generation stage. And then what about what about stability and mastery of the subtle? So you are said to have achieved stability or solidity of your practice of a subtle generation stage when you can visualize the entire cosmos of Tantra in the space within the space of a mustard seed, and in a master in the power of your concentration is such that time space limitation is kind of gone, and therefore you can visualize the cosmos of Tantra, of the mandala within the space of mustard. And if you can remain there for 4 hours, if you can maintain 4 hours of a concentration, vivid concentration, then you have achieved stability in the subtle. And if you can remain doing so for days and days, and then you have mastered. So in Tantra, there's no special section about developing karma abiding, because when you and Shine karma abiding is developed incidentally while doing these coarse and subtle, and then going through stability and mastery stages. So mainly in generation stage, there's a practice called kusum lamkir, taking taking few Buddhas resultant in enlightened states of Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and then Nirmanakaya forward as part. Kusum Lamkir, take 3 kayas as means part.
다드네 조림 세데 컬러스나 족스도 족림스 족가스나 당은 롱 대신 당기는 저 자슴 계정만 쉐임바 아니 데 지름 공배 떡이 아니 고미온디 아니 자슴 세다 아니 제는 롱도 야지 곰덥지 야롱 자우면을 주제 아니 데 용스 도용디 딘데게 적배 람기름 받을라 조림지로 bombe topji lung za umena la chuba yons zandu yons trene ani yons zoga tinde gi ta chi rimba lang rimba de la ta khoden ro chita zog rim se de odirwa ta
Now, in the highest yoga tantra, the fourth tantra, the second level of practice is called Dzogrim, completion stage. And there, the person who has had success, who kind of came out with the flying colors in their practice of a generation stage, particularly subtle, somebody who has gained mastery in the subtle generation stage. There, they are in an ideal position to practice the completion stage. That is okay. Now, in the completion stage, you have to visualize 4 nerve centers called nerve centers and 3 channels. The purpose of a completion stage is to meditate channeling energy or the winds in winds flowing in the side channel into the central channel and then dissolves at one of the nerve centers. Okay, dissolves at the center of one of the nerve centers in the central channel, and the power one achieves in terms of ability to do that or to engage in that part is called completion stage.
다딜라 족든 기름에 있는 매화치 공부도와 조림에 있는 매화치고 말에 칸이 실을 여와디 람로 켜도요. 또 먼저 다숨 세다면 유다 여러 아니 롱디 고면디 원에 수분나나 쇼용거래 쇼용디 다 된데 조림들 류에 림방아 시션디로 조림 람림방아 용다들 류에 마빈 세빈 줄루 외세 송죽스와 류에 마빈 류에 다 마빈 세빈이 직다 로 류에 아니 류에 마빈 세빈 줄루 외세 송죽
Gyulu 외세 송죽라스 long lüin jerwa ngawin semen chikniche yene gyulu sumche long wese shiche yem rimbe shebe wese ne sumjuk. So it's important to remember the difference between generation, the first level, and the completion, the second level, stages of the highest level, highest yoga tantra. The first is done merely, or rather, at the level of a merpa. Merpa means belief. It's happening. It's believing that it is happening. Whereas in completion stage, you tap into what you already are wired with. And so we have to visualize. You have visualized the 3 channels, 4 nerve centers. Although we visualize, you don't visualize, you don't need to because you have them. It's just a matter of It's just a matter of activating. And then to engage in the completion stage, you have to go through 5 stages, and they are Leuven. Leuven means physical isolation. Okay, first stage 1, there are 5 stages. Stage 1, Leuven. Almost like saying no body, literally, but physical isolation. And then speech and mental isolation as one. Second stage. Speech isolation, mental isolation, second stage. The third stage is illusory body, illusory maya, illusory maya kaya, illusory body. The fourth stage is clear light. Remember clear light now? Clear light is the fourth stage. The fifth stage is unifying the fourth and the fifth into one. Oh, sorry. No. The third and the fourth, thank you. Third and fourth into one, called Zungjuk, flowing in unison. Literally, as somebody said at the discussion, they are anyway unified. Yes.
다 르벤스티 칼라우스나 다제나 룽 곰도기 룽다 오면은 쇼윤디 아니 룽 타멜레 엠바스와 타타군 오샤용 거와 타군군에 야 당연디 아니 룽 타멜레 엠바스 르벤스
So just a brief etymological explanation of why body isolation is called body isolation. So when you meditate, channeling the energy and into the central channel, then you discard, as it were, your body. Anyway, as you channel that, as you channel the wind in the central channel, you actually arise in the deity form without without the old previous body. The previous body is absent, isolated. Thus, physical isolation.
다드네 자니 잔주야 자 우메나는 슈 룽슈르드 로마 잠마기 드바 잡데 담데요라 나무도 룽고요 말아
자, 니게 들어볼. 그래서
닌게 카도게 닌게 공어 잔주디게 트르드 아니 마벤스디 마벤도디 잔주 트야라 마벤도제 대와서네 먼저 단다 실랑은 우단시도와
라우
우단베 다가나나 오마홍 다다요 홍 아스 홍스디 옥수용다 홍스디 파단로다 아스디 마팀로다 랑죽 내숨 이 이게 단단한 연구 실내 요래 말은 단다 이게 중요만에 라고도 국중 공대 야부잖아 지명하래 냠네 빼 통부치야 요래서 됐다 그럼 우기 단단한 때네 이기 남샤요 대샤요 내장가라 네 먼저 단다 탐에게 나디 참만 도도 나벤세 이 당고 되지 신고다 이 마벤세
그치라데 어디 엄그 당을 가서 조용을 파주 거
홍스드 아니 바로도
파주 거를
엄스드 틀리기도
롱
아스드 마팅기도
롱
홍스드 당용 거를 와 파당 거로
로스
엄스드 수팅겨 우중어래
롱
아스드 네버 우 당중네 섬세도
롱
지금 상상라 저가지라 홍아옴 그냥 홍아옴 다디다 얘기 아니 수수 당보 수축진 수다이디나 당고요라
롱
아니 파다이는 홍옴아스 와 그래서 당보 파고 파다이도 고두고이나 홍옴아스 디다디 항아는 우담베 다다가나 디사바케서 말아 근데 우기 울라니 지대나 우기 다데나나 어디 도용 거다 이게 순간 안단디 도용 거다 니 도용스나나 아니 나वे도지 탐에기 다디 도도 나위세 어디다
So, so as the person continues channeling the wind in the central channel, you have to do it repeatedly because it's a training. And then when the wind enters central channel at the heart level, whereby the central channel, okay, everybody, central channel is knotted by knotted by two side channels. That's why the wind cannot enter inside the heart level of the central channel. So when you recite, when you continue doing this, when the knots, when the when the pressure, if you like, of the knots above and below, that's below the nerve center at the heart level. When the knots up just above and below loosen, when they loosen, start to dull means that when the pressure loosens, and then you achieve speech isolation, because as you inhale to do this exercise, your breath, so exhalation and inhalation and exhalation and abidance, your breath becomes mantra. You are not saying mantra, but you now Geshe-la says, if you exhale, it has tone of a hum, and as you inhale, it has tone of a om. And when you between the when the wind abides, then there is there is tone of dang, means of ah. So or you can say om ah hong. People you say om ah om ah. So when you when you say om represents inhalation, R represents the inhalation, and then after inhalation, the wind stays in the body for a few moments. That's R. And when you exhale, exhalation is hum. So that's why I have said that if you do breathing meditation to calm the mind, it has far-reaching consequences in enabling one at a higher level as this.
다드네 아니 닝게 잔도 용수 트웨제 아니 단다 뉴스는 참모디 니후데라 한도 단다라 봐다디 디게 닝게 잔도 아니 룽오면은 쇼요인데 아니 라관냥아도 팀도 여러가다 좋아 라관냥아도 이 팀지 아니 치다나다도 상마샤비요 다닝 자도 공원 용수 트 닝게 잔도 공원 용수 트데 아니 나제 더선수 군도 제주디게가 아니 디네 신주 아니 나오가라마 처음말로 니도 나람버스데 아니 디네 치외 외세스다 용원도 실내셔다 외세스디 아니 셈 탐모디 양원디 교고라 다셈 탐모 되게 돈이 더거디 아니 당이다 만도 셈 차진 고민데 다 ngāgi 셈 탐모 셈 뉴스 뉴스야 돼 셈모드다니 뉴스 탐모도 뉴스모래 다드네 디 아니 돈이 더왜 돈이 더 요데 아니 PVC에서다 PVC에서다 PVC에서 가지고
So now that the constriction by the side channels on the nerve center on heart chakra is loosened at the line above and below. You have this speech, and when they further continue doing the same completion, channeling the wind in the central channel, and then the entire constriction by the third channel will loosen, not completely just go off, they loosen. Zadu chasang means they loosen completely. They loosen completely. And then the wind will flow into the centermost level of central channel at the heart level. There is in dormant form your timeless, luminous, your timeless indwelling mind. Nyuksim Tamu, the most subtle mind, which has been in dormant form, now is activated. And is activated, and when you keep doing the meditation, you are not dying, but through the power of meditation, when the entire constriction gone, the dormant, timeless, luminous mind becomes active, as if you are dying. All the 25 cause items, they dissolve. They dissolve, and the 80 natural concepts or instinctual kind of level concepts, thoughts, they dissolve. When they dissolve, then a more subtle level of consciousness arises called white appearance, red increase, and attainment or black near attainment. Black near attainment. When at the black near attainment, one kind of blacks out, although one is dead, there's a kind of a sense of blacking out, and you remain in that. After a while, then the subtle mind, with free of all cause 25 items, 80 concepts, white appearance, red increase, and black near attainment, which are all levels of a subtle, especially these levels of subtle mind gone. The ultimate indwelling subtle mind is exposed, bare, naked, as is. And when that mind, so that is the tantric counterpart of apprehending the mind. In Tantra, apprehending the mind, to practice Tantric Mahayana is this, coming to this level. When that mind understands emptiness, it is called analogous clear light, or similitude clear light. Loss. So that is the part of preparation of Tantra.
룽심 오직 세죠.
No.
근데 룽의 생각에 니는 심실해지 전에 다기 되는 냠샤로 봐.
Alright.
근데 내가 당연히 줄루신다고 그래. 마트 왜 줄루스. 근데 하고 뭐 당연히 그러다. 봐.
So then to move to the third completion stage called illusory body. So the person, when they see the indwelling timeless mind, they are single-pointedly resting on it, understanding emptiness, achieving part of preparation. So, on the part of preparation and meditative equipoise, you remain in that. So now the subtle wind and the subtle mind, they are the same entity of the different isolates. So now, when the subtle wind as the primary or substantial cause, and the subtle mind as a contributing cause, with the subtle mind, with the subtle wind as a primary or substantial cause, and subtle mind as a contributing, helping cause, the person in from meditative equipoise on clear light now will arise in a deity form, and now will arise on the form of the deity whose practice they have been undertaking, and that illusory body, this is the illusory body, and that is the illusory body of the deity, and it is called impure illusory body.
다디네 양자 니 동이 검제 양자 검이는데 한당이 동이 튼지스기도 거죠.
Lorry.
이게 세메디 동이 튼지스기도 거와. 안데 바바바바바 세제. 안데로 되게 로되게 동이 무슨데 또르데. 아니 셈 참모데다. 셈 참모데.
Lorry.
무슨 또르데. 나 림바시와 튼지we 세세다. 림바시와 튼지we 세세. 다디. 이 동이 무슨 또르데. 다데로 되 나가 돌람탐다.
So now the practitioner has risen in the form of a deity, acquiring impure illusory body, impure because they have not eradicated mental afflictions as yet, despite such amazing capacity. So these practitioners now in the deity form again meditate on emptiness. Meditate on emptiness, which they understood before and then in death. So before in meditation on the part of preparation, understanding of emptiness on the part of preparation is conceptual. Now when this deity, this person in deity form meditates on emptiness further, then the power of when the translator said this person, it is the mind, the clear mind, the clear light, the subtle indwelling mind of this deity. The subtle indwelling mind of this deity, when it meditates on emptiness, it will see emptiness directly, not conceptually anymore. There they have reached the part of seeing, the tantric part of seeing, and they have become they have overcome, they have achieved tantric part of seeing, acting as a direct antidote to delusive obscuration. loso.
다디네 계진이와들라 대야 당제 아니 세ven 타도 가자 림바시웨 팅제웨세 디게 shumbarjuwe lungwe senga nyelenche simjilenche shinji sheni ya gyulu dangyondu tadi lobe sungjuk sayadari ta sungjuk sayadari hinde digi nyundi pangba pangba ta dajamba top sayadari ta thonlam nyinda nga la yina thonlam nega dajamba top nyundi pangba pangba de dang gyulu wa nyi sungdu jugoye we inza kele ya pangba sungjuk sayadari ta sungjuk ta lamrimba mawadirwa ta sungjuk di lobe sungjuk dang, mi lobe sungjuk si. Tanda di lobe sungjuk si adirwa da, lobe sungjuk dila wada dire, adi digi.
So, so now this person or this deity is in meditation on emptiness, because within that emptiness they achieved part of seeing and now sees emptiness directly, empirically, barely, starkly, and so they have achieved they have achieved part of seeing. Now they will rise. I'm sorry, I have to say that this is the fourth stage, of Tantra. What was just described is clear light. Remember, vessel. So after having seen emptiness directly through the power, at the part of seeing, now the energy of the subtle mind of this meditator on the part of seeing as a primary cause, and the mind understanding, the subtle mind itself understanding emptiness as a contributing cause, they will 가수 뉴도 말에 대해서 메시지를 아주 메시지를 봐 리버 숨바 시베 메시지를 봐 아니 쉐벨롱데 예레제를 봐 아니 쉐바데 쉐바 안데네 고당 거로
심디 렌지지 인체
라오 데네
고당로
라 데캅스 아니
딘데갑스다
숭주
방바 sungjuk simi togoda
노스
lobe sungjuk se togo lobe sungjuk nangi 방바 sungjuk simi togo what is
so I'll repeat the repetition of the translation with the subtle energy of the deity in on the part of seeing, and subtle mind as a contributing cause. The person now again assumes a deity figure, and there they achieve sungjuk, means yukanada. What kind of yukanada have they achieved? Pangpa sungjuk, called unification of total eradication. That means the person is still on the part of seeing, but they have now eradicated all mental afflictions. So eradication, abandonment, pangpa. Loss.
da dine ani da karpando da din nyundi pangro da na shidi pang yo marwa ni shidi pang che de ni yangya dingin zile ya ani kom jab je ro kom jam ani de sim tamu de yangya ani 동니 la nyamba sha yo de ni 동니 la yangya nyamba sha je yo be ne go la ani loba thai tenje se se ta lobe 로바타에 tunjiwe 다 시디 빵갈라고 용선 참여 돈용 웃음도 계진 예와들라 시디 빵갈라고 같은 데기 NSM들라 다디 버를 계제 망고요 다 시모지 아니 로바타에 tunjiwe 다 셈진 주지 아니 게 셔바 타마드레스 다 덴데기 아니 다디 전자저래 DSMD 롱어 생각에 년년체 심질len지 전에 아니 야 계진 예와야 줄류 당용도 아니 밀로베 송주 도고 다 밀로베 송주 되라 다 단다디 시디 방배 방바데다 아니 귤류니 송주 주고 여러와 다디 산제고 고마 어디 송주 되네 도고 여래서와 다 리버 주고 다 야도지 찬스는 어디다
So, this deity, this practitioner, who has eradicated nyendip, affliction or obscuration, preventing nirvana, nyendip, as they reflect and see what have they managed so far, they realize through the power of Tantra they have overcome delusive or obscuration completely, quickly, but they have not overcome obstructions to omniscience that prevent them from becoming Buddha. Then what they do, what do they do? And they meditate on emptiness again by the same subtle mind, by the same subtle mind. As they meditate on as an illusory body, as a deity in illusory body, who is free of delusive obscuration, meditate on emptiness again by the subtle mind, and then they achieve Dongyu means actual clear light of a training on the last stage. Training on the last stage. Lobatai means training on the verge of enlightenment. Training on the So so this mind is this mind of the person in deity form is the last stage of the mind of a sentient being. The last stage of the mind of a sentient being. They understand, they have directly realized the Dongyu means actual clear light, which represents the clear light of the last stage of her training. Now they're in meditation. This is again in meditation. Now what happens is their subtle wind, their subtle energy with the five colors, there's the most subtle energy with the five hues as primary cause, and the subtle mind which has understood the actual clear light, with which they have nearly overcome obstructions to omniscience. And when the practitioner fuses five-hued subtle energy and understanding, or the direct understanding of actual clear light together, now the person arises in the illusory form called Vajradhara. They have become Buddha.
당연히 이 자전기 기생기 지금 아직 로고라네. 이와 고고들 기생 동아 예외 니스치 니스 유에스로 쇼런스 수브런 숨주 선이 되는 거 앞이
Nice.
동아 예외 니스 말로션
So I'm going to give a translation of the remaining parts.
동아 예외 니스 치마도지 루니라 네드 뉴베 타베 기스로 와드나 치마 아니 말라메기다 딜라 주에 대제외세 대세 다 디미시 요마네 칙비 주에 대제외세 세디 어디 네 사라하다 몰로도다 나로바다 미라다 아니 드저기 차제인다 둠닝이 꼴 드즈네 템바 안 드즈 라메스디다 나라메기 자주주기는 저기네 저 라메 규디기 양닝 닝보디 아니 대제 외세 숭주 타두기데레스 아다 디셰디 틱디 된다데다.
So if you look at this tentative copy of translation, tentative, the letter, the blissful clear light which arises from skillful means, such as concerted manipulation of Vajra points of the Vajra body is the Mahamudra, and so on. So in that, there's a very brief mention of a Tantric Mahamudra by saying, Junga Dechen was a blissful clear light arising from skillful means or for tapping into Vajra body. And that is the system of the great tantric adepts like Saraham, Nagarjuna, and so on. Oh, that stanza is on page 2 of the translation. Page 2 and stanza 6 or the verse 6.
Oh yeah, that's the name of the Tangi Hamadi Dubina.
So now I'm going to read stanza 37 and give you transmission only.
Dadila ni shizo ni jewe chagjen gomban lesson tanda chagjen ni ji gomjawa dile 중에 난가를 배워지지 뒤송교도 지지 라면치 뭐 스타모 제도와
No.
디네마다 디네 대다라 대다콘에 소루지 유디나 다르바디 동니 또 차베질라니 유나디 주마데 샤단로 디게셰 유디나의 지샤에 나즈이 심모도 신네 내즈이 제마 차르 간샤문지 따베 도나란신 라서 강강나에 된데니 아니 마딘디 니즈는 녀와치라 따데 대다신의 콘데지 추구란 신직의 조스 이게 되면 파벌의 모지기 따오고 되는 분이 따오지 지기들이 가는 거 되는 분이 되는 시에서부터 다 추니 수신년 냠바르 샤고 뭐 예멜라서 콘데지 되베다다 딜레라나 따웨지 민자다에 전신 자제된 녀미 밀라미기 준다다 유마다고 나오기 차로 나외 동반 미래시 동반 나오면 대단 대주 대주의 남산 대대견지 되게 마와 몽드 뭐라 로산 추이견지 시제로 개외 두고 신군이발라 대외 남디 뉴드 예유지 제 차제 전부 모두 지주 디양서 리나 추제 진영배 되고 동원에 원베리드 리수 두 장성의 주주 두네서 남디는 양리님 뭐 채워라 내주 ramjaba gindigen zen 하공 하동 가주 하동 한동이니 가주와 셰로 생기니 징아문의 양양 구이신 신양이 되게 차게 되면은 저와 대회랑 로마 몸을 보고던 겨울아지 이제 동안 탐지 김배장 겨와 원서를 전부 되니 장신로 동바대회 연구실이 신이 된주네 신라지 거던 거는 주주 시마다고 남디 남만이 바 다대 강제라 마다를 세계 전부 당 타도 다다 얘기를 고 미니소 시 기도 가져온 게 뒤치 뒤로보네 배난 탐지 배가데 산제 이시라도 떠지는 남들랑 중에는 세워지 대단 남라 체자 산제수 유로신의 나의 미승모 제제신은 교과 둘레식 시에송보단데 시와 두에 치레 도마냐메샤의 기본의 송리에 다가다라는 틀레진지 시과 첨부 산제 이시 시원에 para 람디 무슨지 투냠사의 진업지 교와 마냠신스 탐질라 셀레마시의 릭스 슈신 도주 담배 명아 젠바본와 로산 추진진지 간디 넘버 제벨링도 티바 자로스 당에 고드는 마틱스로 빌리로
So I've read from stanza 32 onwards up to the 38 and read the colophon and everything. As is tradition, I like to read from the opening stanza to create future serendipitous occasion to delve more deeply into Mahamudra.
나무 마무트야 군저군지라 시차게지 예매주를 신기도지 젠바든지 챕터도 두웨지 다음에 라메샤로 두웨지 두기마 제제주도 레바도제 간디가죠 이제 도마 반자에서 가서 책에 좀 건도 딜라 정을 주선 당거된 배치를 주로 보는 주제에 파는 수정을 장로신 일을 신기 순위 통해 수다되죠 야 소사 디자라드네 이제분자만데 차자가 먹는데 주선 산제 단제다 예매 자벨마 닝네 소와 야야데 스타디샤지로
Okay.
어디 차쟁기 디마 디고치 나드네 윤대슈 유데스 하데로 아니 드네 유대니 뭐를 이제 내나 주의는 좀 튀시는 저처럼 마에가 담배 순위도 같이지로 다 제가 드네 유대닝고 닝고데 데리 강도 단다 셔야 돼 뭐도 유대식 닝고데 다 단다도 셔야 돼 아니 숨 참고야 산제로 나린다디 남좀방하고는 도서마 어디 유대닝고데 드네 유대닝 뭐지 내나 지신전에 된바 내데 수수 또네 튀시는 저처럼 다 니마르레 튀시시 내저처네 담배 숨 다 담배 말랍제 자원나시 그토야기 지난나로지 아니 대다기 기회자와 사고데 이겨고네 안달라마다 재미지 유별로 사당이 도시상고만 유도쇼스 다 겨원에 아니베 라마다 메테와 겨고군데 양다 라마다 재미 아니 라마다 마테오자 라마다 님도 되나야 라마가시 최마스마지 되니데 유인자 최마스는 편도 요마랑 안들어와 제자니 최송이 라마지가 태워쇼스 아니 사단 대체 순이 아니 냠내체는 사단 남기 윤대라더네 다도디 아니 겨워도 장고마 당긴 것도 다도 순주 시에서 어디 토바쇼 스라시 심지 탐젤 어디 이모면람데 와
So I want to briefly go to page 23 of Amazon Kappa Guruyaka one, the last stanza on page 23. Then it says, then when I have realized exactly the vital points of two stages, the essence of tantric set, and so on. So now you know what this is talking about. The essence of tantra is practice of complete generation and completion stage, and with the completion stage go through the 5 stages, and ultimately ultimately using the resources we have had at all times, ultimately, or use the resources we have had at all times through the skillful tantric means. One says, may I arise as a Vajradhara. So then the other alongside the next page, and so on. Sorry, I'm blocked. I'm sorry. Tantric obstructions, sorry. Obstructions to practice Tantra. Not qualified. You can see the deities are saying that you are not qualified. Thank you. So, yeah, page 25, if you read, it's a the next, this one is asking Ben Merit Field Lamaton Kaba to clear away all the obstacles standing in the way of your practice of the inner secrets of Tantra. And long. So, okay, now before that, before I say Gyawakundo, let's do the dissolution of the merit field that we have been doing over the course of the few days.
medo bema de nala suzu timya de chon singirwa ta di tim sawe jela ani di medo bema de chu khasum rwa khasum ani migdema ge di medo bema de migdema de tabwe sor chinje migdema de medo bema de khadam di nala ani suzu nyusim thamo de da ani lama ngo yeme de chen de ye chenje 어디 두조디 다 제시하느라.
So now, what I'd like you to do is invite the married field central figure Lama Tsongkhapa and recalling the process. Anyway, feel that Lama Tsongkhapa is asked to come and alight at the center of your heart, which has got 8-petal lotus, and at the center of that is white light, your mind. So now, when you say, "Oh Guru, come and alight and take seat at the heart, at my heart," feel Lama Tsongkhapa comes and dissolves into your mind, and the lotus petals close now. Today, this is special. The lotus closes, and the petals of the lotus, the closing petals of the lotus, then they are tightened. They are tightened by the rosary, by Mixima mantra. Mixima mantra becomes kind of a string to tighten. Is it tighten? Yeah. To tighten the to tie. Thank you. To tie the lotus petals, and then feel that Guru Lama Tsongkhapa, who has dissolved into your mind, become non-dual, have been sealed to eternity, as it were, and to abide at your heart. So could you then do the dissolution process, please?
That's the tension.
Now could you recite?
Magnificent and precious Root Guru, please abide on the lotus and moon in my heart. Guide me with your great kindness, grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech and mind. Magnificent and precious Root Guru, please abide on the lotus and moon in my heart. Guide me with your great kindness, grant me the supreme and holy realizations. Magnificent and precious Root Guru, please abide on the lotus and moon in my heart. Guide me with your great kindness, and remain steadfast until I attain the essence of enlightenment.
Could you then do Father, your body and my body on page 8? Thank you. Thank you. 3 times.
Your body, Father, and my own body. Your speech, Father, and my own speech. Your mind, Father, and my own mind. May they bless to realize quickly their true inseparability. Your body, Father, and my own body. Your speech, Father, and my own speech. Your mind, Father, and my own mind. May they bless to realize quickly their true inseparability. Your body, Father, and my own body. Your speech, Father, and my own speech. Your mind, Father, and my own mind. May they bless to realize quickly their true inseparability.
They don't refrain from.
Generating a mind of compassion and loving kindness, and by completely severing the continuum that clings to holding the self, may be blessed to quickly attain the highest state of Mahamudra with the path of total integration. By generating a mind of compassion and loving kindness, and by completely severing the continuum that clings to holding the self, attain the highest state of Mahamudra and the path of total integration.
And now could you go to Gyawa Kundo on page 24 of the Guru, this one here, this book, Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga. Could you recite the stanza, the second stanza on page 24, Gyawa Kundo Yangda Lama Tang, that one.
In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing qualities, the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing qualities, the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing qualities, the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
I will stop.
Page 29.